The following is a presentation of the Eagles Sports Network.
Hi, and welcome to the Eagle Sports Network. I'm Caitlin Jones, standing alongside head track and field coach David Needs. So I'm going to start us off by talking a little bit about this little break we've had last week. Tell me, how was the break for you all? Was it a lot of heavy training still? Did you give some people some time to rest, and what that looked like?
Both. For the coaches, it was good because it was like 6 out of the last 7 weeks we were competing. So and different athletes competing in different things. So, but the coaches were there. Some of the ones we had to went to nationals. We gave off the following week. But even Sade, here she is. She goes to the African Games in Ghana. So, I mean, all of us needed that break a little bit. And so last week was appreciated. We could do some things better in practice, but we needed the rest.
So you all had gone to compete the weekend before last, and I remember that there were some kind of crazy conditions, maybe a little extra wind. Tell me what the conversation looks like just about facing that adversity as an athlete, and then how that will carry through as you continue forward in your season.
Yeah, so how would you like to be a sprinter in the 100 meters and you go and you run a race and then the wind is too strong and they say, well, it doesn't count, right? It would be kind of like, hey, you scored a touchdown, but it doesn't count because the wind's too strong. And so that was difficult. Now, people that ran more than 200 meters, the 400 meters, they had the wind at their back for some and wind in their face. So for those athletes that faced the adverse and the plus conditions, it was a challenge. But for sprinters to run some of their best, Khadijah ran a great time in the hurdles, and then you have to give it back because the wind is too strong. It is now. That's part of track, right? So the good thing is even with a strong wind at your back, you realize that you can do that, right? Because last year when Maka won the 100 meters, the wind was particularly strong, but he used it as did everybody else in the race. But he did it to win the national championship.
Right. So now you guys are heading to both UT, and you're sending a couple to Lee. Tell me about what you're expecting out of the weekend, and then how you chose who's going here and who's going here.
So Lee has the 10,000 meters. UT doesn't. So Katie Smock is one of her best events is the 10K. So we wanted her to go to Lee because it makes much more sense. Had a couple to Itzy and Autumn that are going to throw the javelin at Lee because we basically UT only got 3 in per event, and it just worked out that Itzy and Autumn are from down that way anyway. So it just made a lot more sense. But for us at UT, last year we said, we're going to bring these 5-10 people, and this year we said, hey, they're giving us 3 spots. We feel like we belong there with everybody else. And, when it's UT and most of the MACs, so you got like Kent and, and all Ohio University and a lot of these other places. But you also have like Notre Dame and others. We felt like we belonged. And if you look at the entries in there, especially in the sprint races and the jumps, like the best in a lot of those is Tennessee, but then the next best in a lot of those is Carson-Newman. So then everybody else. And so for us to have a chance to go and compete against the very best on a great track and still be one of the best schools there, shows is a credit to our athletes and certainly our coaches.
It is exciting that you all are sending more this year to UT and seeing a much, stronger competition than maybe you see throughout the year. And maybe not. You all have a really strong conference as well. But talk to me a little bit about what you're telling your athletes as they head into maybe what might be an intimidating meet for some of them who haven't been there before.
Well, I kind of joked with some people the other day. So the kids that grew up in East Tennessee in the United States, like, oh, this is great. We're going to Tennessee. It's Tennessee, and they maybe ran in high school or whatever else. But to the international kids, it's like they don't even know who Tennessee could be, another school down the road. And so for them, it's not as much the awe of the place as it is who they get to compete against. And so for them, it's not about running on that surface or being in that Tom Black track. For them, it's, all right, I get to run against, say, Javante Harding, who runs 19 seconds in the 200 meters. So now I get to run a faster time because I'm running against one of the best in the world.
So just give me, as we kind of wrap up, if you had to put one goal for the weekend, what's your goal for the team as you guys head into this?
To get way more people to nationals is one. So for us, to have a good weekend. We always say it's the curse of UT, though, because the weather is never good when we go to Tennessee here lately. And so last year was rainy and a little bit almost like icy. And so this year it's a little bit different. But can we get on a fast track against fast people and run fast times so that we continue to improve? Or are we in the jumps, and do we get the kind of marks that we need to say, hey, this is going to be good enough to go to nationals? So now for the rest of the season, we're working on perfecting things so that we can be that much better when it is our time to go to nationals, that we can go compete.
Well, we look forward to seeing what you all can do this weekend, and we wish you the best of luck as always. And thank you all for tuning in to the Eagle Sports Network.